All right, we are just going to perform our 4-point air brake test, and we're going to start with a safe start. All right, 4-point air brake test. We started, at 90 psi or below. We check to see if we are at 90 psi, which is the case. We are just going to start building air pressure between 1,000 and 1,200 RPM until we hear the air governor compressor cut out between 120 and 140 psi. We just heard our air governor compressor cut out. Next, we are just going to turn the key off and turn it back to the on position to ensure that our gauges are working. Which is the case. Our gauges are working, and then we are just going to release both our parking brakes, apply the service brakes for 1 minute to ensure that we lose no more than 4 psi in a combination unit. Would you time me, examiner? Yes. Let's do it. All right, time is up. Then we are just going to start fanning our service brakes until our low pressure warning light and alarm activate before reaching 55 psi. All right, we got the light came on and the alarm just came on. And the next step, we are just going to continue to fan our service brakes until both our air valves pop out between 20 and 45 psi. And we're going to check our gauges for pressure, for air pressure. We just seen that, both valves pop out between 20 and 45 psi, and let's check our gauges to make sure that we still got air pressure. Yes, we do. This concludes our 4-point air brake test. Let's do a safe start. 1, 2, neutral. We're doing the end cap test right now. We are just going to check right now the lighting, the condition right here. We're going to start out with our ABS light. It's off. ABS light both in tractor and trailer. Checking our depth gauge. Depth gauge is working properly. ABS working properly. And now we are checking our left turn signals. Working properly. Right turn signal working. And we're checking our 4-way flashers. Do high beam there, and low beam, it's working. So this is for the first section. Do the emergency, we'll do the air horn first. We'll do the electric horn. This one doesn't work, but we say electric horn and the air horn right here, they are working properly. They don't work in this truck, but they're working properly. So that's why you have to say that. Then you just go to the emergency equipment. So first of all, you check on your fire extinguisher. It is it's properly charged, fully securely mounted. It's properly charged. Then you check for your 3 red reflective triangles. They are there in the glove box, secure. And we check for the fuses and the spare fuses and the 6 spare fuses, spare fuses. The windshield, we just check out the windshield. The windshield is free of obstruction. It is not cracked, broken, or missing. It's free of obstructions, and it's clean, it's clear. From there, we just go to our mirrors. All that you need to say about the mirrors, they are adjusted correctly. Because you'll say more about the mirrors when you're outside. The wiper arms and blades. You got to make sure you say the wiper arms and blades, both. You got to turn them on. The wiper arms and blades, they are secure. They are just mounted securely, and they are working. Our sprayer, the washer fluid sprayer, it's working. This one is not working, but you have to push it, make it work. All right, that's what you see on that. And then we are just going to start doing the defrost, the heat. So what you say about this one right here, you got to see you explain it. You enunciate it, and you just going to turn it from here, heat, go to over there, all the way, and we put it defrost right there. And you stick your hand. He says, all right, there is enough airflow right here, coming from defrost. And then you switch it back to your feet. Put your hand under right here. We got airflow, the heat coming right there. So it's working properly. They're both working properly. That's all you need to say right there. And then once you're done over here, you're just going to go do the tug test. On the tug test, you gotta do, first of all, we're going to check the brake on the trailer. How do you do that? You just go ahead and we're going to release the truck parking brake, which is the yellow. Alright, we're going to put it in drive, and we are just going to tug it twice. Alright, 1 and 2. Alright, and now back in neutral, we are going to check the brakes system in the truck to make sure that they're working. You do the opposite. All right. Release just the red on the trailer. Put it in drive, and we are checking the brakes in the truck. All right. Tug it twice. 1 and 2. All right. Right there. Okay, they're working. The third part, we don't do it. Manual people, you don't do it. Only the asset manual people. Automatic, if you're on automatic, you don't do it. Only the manual people do the third part. But you got to explain it though. You got to explain the third part, which is we are just going to check the brake system, the service brakes in our unit. How we do that? We are just going to release both valves, and we are just going to put it in drive. We're going to drive 5 miles per hour, and we're going to brake. And to see that whether we pull whether to the left or to the right. If we do pull to the left or to the right, that is an indication that the brake system needs service. You explain that part, and that's all. You're done. Then we are just going to go to the next part. The next part is just you will ask the examiner on your right side. Say, examiner, I'm going to ask you to help me to step out, and you are going to check the lighting for me, and you are going to list all of them. How are you going to do that? So would you please stand in the front of the vehicle to check the lighting for me? You're going to check the left turn signal, right turn signal, the high beam and the low beam, the clearance light, the marker light. All right, and so that's what you're going to check in the front. And would you just step in the back? You go in the back where I can see you. You give me a thumbs up, and you're going to check the left turn signal, right turn signal, high beam, low beam, and the flasher, the flashers, and the emergency light for both. I didn't say that on the front. You got to say the emergency light on the front, and check the flashers, the emergency light on the back. Then you're going to check the ID light, the center ID light, the tail light, the brake light, and the running light. All right. So, and you're going to check the left turn signal, right turn signal as well in the back, and everything like that, and the flashers as well, the emergency light. So you give me a thumbs up. Once you say that, the examiner would step out, and you would turn the truck off, and he or she will stand in the front of the truck, and every time you perform a task, so he or she will give you a thumbs up. So once you pass that point, you ask him or her to step out. All that you need to do, you turn your truck up, and make sure you turn your running light off. You turn everything off, because he's going to, she or she going to step out. You turn everything off, and you're waiting. So this is the part that we are going to do, and pretend that someone is out there. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna pretend he's out there or she's out there. So you turn everything off. All right. Now you turn it back to the on, because they're not gonna work. All right.
Okay.
The truck is in on position. All right. What did we say? The list. All right. We're gonna check left turn signal, right turn signal. However way you just listed it earlier.
Yeah.
Right turn signal. Give you a thumbs up. Now let's do flashes. Thumbs up. Then we do clearance light. Turn it on, and you turn it back up. And high beam, low beam. It's on, high beam. Oh, what there? Oh, I think I hear. Yeah, high beam and low beam. And once you're done, you turn it off. Now he or she gonna go in the back. You're gonna do the same thing. When you go in the back, you're just gonna do left turn signal, right turn signal, emergency light, center ID light. You turn the running light off, on, and brake light, tail light. You just turn it on again. That's tail light. As soon as you turn that on, that's tail light, and I think that's it. You got two things to check for. Say from here, from one sweeping motion. Yeah, you're sealing. You're gonna be sealing. Like here. Oh, you say that. All lenses and reflectors. Oh, crack, broken, or missing. They are in proper color, amber, and clear. So we have to secure. That's all you need to say. These lenses. Yeah, you don't need to say light, you know this kind of lenses and reflectors. Then you are going to clear the Q stance. What do we say? We say that it's level from front to back, side to side, and you're done. Yeah, that's all you need to say on the front. So when you're over here, you're gonna start out, in the engine. So you're gonna really pop the engine, and we're gonna check for the coolant system right here, and we're gonna check the reservoir, the power steering reservoir, and the engine. What do we say? Now the coolant, we check. It's the proper level, high and low. That's all you need to say. And we check that, by seeing it on the side. And the power steering, we just check to see if it's max and minimum. You can see it right here, proper level. And on the engine oil, how we do that, we gotta do a little bit more explanation. We gotta take the dipstick out, check it while we do it. Just put it back in there and see if it's active. That's all you need to say on this one. Then you go to the part that's kind of a little bit confusing, got a little bit of wording in it. So from here, you're just gonna go to the top, down, all the way, from the top to the engine, and expecting from the top down to the underside of the engine and transmission. Look for drips, puddles, or any signs of leaks around beneath. And we're gonna just check for all hoses and air lines for cracks, cuts, visible fluid, or audible air leaks. That's all you need to say. All right, from here. From there, we're just going to go the steering gearbox right here. This is a steering gearbox right here. All right. All right. All that you need to say is just it's mounted securely. It's not cracked, broken, with no visible fluid leaks. And we say all power steering hoses and connections are free from cuts, cracks, or visible leaks. Steering system is not missing any nuts, bolts, or collar keys. All right, the steering system right there. That's all we need to say right there. You don't even need to touch really. You just point at the white position. remember what I said. What we say. All right. Now we go to the connecting links, arms and rods, ID pitments, and this is what there. ID pitment, drag link, and steering knuckle. You got to say all three of them. It's what there, right here and there. All right. So what do we say about it? They are mounted securely, not cracked, damaged, or worn. The joint and sockets are not worn or loose. Castle nuts and cotter pins are not missing. It's cotter pins and castle nuts are not missing. So that's all you need to say on that one right here. Then we go to the leaf spring. We point at the leaf springs right here. What do we say? So they are no missing. They are not missing shifted, cracked, or broken springs. And from there we transition to the spring mounts. Right here, when you talk about the spring mounts, you got to say front and rear. They are not cracked, broken, or missing. They are not missing. There are no missing parts. All right. We don't really have air right.
What's the spring mounts? This,
and the front, and the back, wherever it's attached.
okay.
All right. That's where it's mounted on. All right. The spring mounts. Then we don't have coil springs, so we skip that. We go to the shock. There's a shock right there. And what do we say? It's mounted securely. Mounted securely. They're not bent, dented. There are no visible leak, hydraulic fluid. You gotta really say these are very important, key, critical words. All right. No leaking hydraulic fluid. Then we go to the air brake system. The brake lines. This one you don't really have to touch. You just point. The brake lines are inside right here. The brake lines. We are going to inspect that hoses and lines can supply air to the brake system and are free from audible leaks. Hoses and lines are not cut, cracked, or frayed. Couplings and fittings are secure and free of audible leaks. Then we just go to the brake drums and rollers. So we don't have rollers, no, we brake drums. We just point, all right? Just point. But there, and we check for contaminants such as grease or oil on the friction surfaces of the drums and linings of the pads and rollers. But this is doesn't have pads and rollers, all right? Then we go to the tires. The tire system over here. When you're talking about the tire, you are referencing to all the other tires as well. So everything you're going to say about the tires, you're going to say it right here. Everything. So that's why you're going to really use it. The other tires, I try to break it down into 4 different sections. You got the tire rubber itself. You got the valves, you got to talk about it. You got the rims, and you got the lug nuts. All right? Each one of them, you got to say at least 3 or 4 things about it. So first of all, let's do the tire, the rubber, the tire, the thread depth. Now, they say the thread depth, we got to check it with the thread depth gauge. The steering tire got to be the front one, got to be at least a minimum. You got to say the words there, all right? Minimum 432 second, 432nd in the steering axle, and all the way the other ones. Got to be at 232, minimum 232 for all the other axles. The condition of the tire got to be there's no cuts, no bulges, no abrasions. It got to be properly inflated. You check with the tire gauge. Then we go to the valve. What do we say? The valve, the stems, caps present. Stems are free from audible leaks or damage. It's right there. You point at it right here. It's the valve stems. And we say all valve stems must be accessible for servicing. So you are referencing to all the other valve stems, everything else, all right? Then we go to the rims. What do we say about the rims? It's not cracked, bent, broken, and no welding repairs. And there is no holes or damage out around, out around or elongated. It doesn't show no rust trails to indicate looseness. When we talk about holes in the rims, we're not talking about these holes. We are talking about the holes around the lug nuts right there, all right? Not these holes, all right? These are just aesthetic stuff. So then we are just going to go down to the wheels and fasteners and studs. What do we say about the lug nuts? The lug nuts are not cracked, but there, the lugs are not cracked, broken, or missing. Lug nuts are mounted securely on the studs. These are the studs, and with no shiny threads to indicate looseness. And then there's no missing studs. All the studs are there, present. Then at this time, you're done over here, we close the hood. They are just mounted securely, and the glass, it's not broken, crack broken or missing, and it's clean. All right. All right. Now from here, there's no missing parts on this rear bracket. There's no missing parts. All right. Then we are just going to stay here and do the same sweeping with one sweeping motion. We are just going to do all our lenses from front to back, and not crack broken or missing, and they are in proper color, amber, and we say the proper color amber and red, and our DOT reflective tip are just not torn.
No, here's the tape.
The tip,
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
DOT reflective tip. All right. It's not ripped, torn, or missing. So we clear that with one sweeping motion from front to back, proper color, amber and red, and the DOT tip, the reflective tip, it's not torn, ripped, or missing. This one is different. All these trucks are different since the batteries are back here. So let's talk about, the fuel tank, because we see it right here. So, and the depth tank. All right, what do we say about the fuel tank? And we can say the fuel tanks is mounted securely, and the fuel lines, there is no visible leaks, and then the cap is secure. All right, that's all we say about this one right here. And let's talk about the depth tank. Okay, this one doesn't really have one, but we'll just say we're gonna just pretend that there's one, because the one that you're gonna be testing on is gonna have one. So, all right, it's the same we say about the fuel tank. It's secure, mounted securely, and the fuel, the line, the depth line is there's no leak, there's no visible leak, and the cap is secure. All right, that's all we say about this fuel tank and depth tank. Then we just go to the battery system right here. It's right there. And what do we say about the batteries right there? And this is batteries, they're mounted securely. The electrical connections right here. All right, so there, electrical connections are tight, must be tight and without signs of excessive corrosions. Yeah, and electrical wires and cables must be secure and free from cracks and frayed and bare wires showing any existential things that would indicate that they need to be replaced. And the battery box or lid is and the door is secure. And that's all we say about it. There's no bare wires and all this kind of stuff about the batteries. All right. From there, we just going to transition to this airline and electric line. You can do either or, that's fine. You can do the frame first, or you can do the airline first. It doesn't really matter. So they're so close to each other. That's fine. So on this one right there, we just got to really say quite a bit of words on this one right there. On the airline, you got to make sure that we say that the airline is not really, it's seated, sealed, and locked into place both in tractor and the trailer. You gotta say, indicate that. Hoses and wires are not cracked, shift, cut, splice, or tape. Releasing for the air leak, if there's any air leak, and electric lines are not to be tangled, cramped, pinched, ensure they're not dragged into the ground. So if you say all these, you should cover everything right here about the airline. Then we have just talked about the frame. The frame, there is no broken weld on the frame and its members. The frame and its members, we gotta hear this. Frame and its members cannot be cracked, bent, or broken. There is no hole, cracks, or breaks on the cargo floor. There's a difference between the cargo floor and the trailer apron. We're not talking about the apron. We're talking about the cargo floor. All right, you gotta remember that. So we're talking about the frame and its members, both in tractor and trailer. You gotta say both to really get credit for all of them. All right. So now we just going down. All right. coupling system right here. Let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about the skid plate. We're going to talk about skid plate. It's a skid plate. You see the skid plate? This is a skid plate right there. What we say is a skid plate. It's mounted securely to the vehicle by the fifth wheel platform. Not crack broken, not excessively worn. The skid plate must be properly greased. So now we talk about the kingpin. The kingpin back there. The kingpin is in place and not cracked, bent, or worn. The apron, the trailer apron, and what we say about it, your trailer apron is not bent, cracked, broken, and there's no damage to its visible area. And to ensure that it's flat, it stays flat on the trailer, on the skid plate. There is no gap between the surfaces, and it's properly lubricated. Proper lubrications. Now we talk about the locking jaws, the V part. Now we discussed when we're doing the coupling. The locking jaws, just check for that locking jaws are fully secure around the kingpin. And we check for the play between the kingpins and the locking jaws, and the release arm, which is the one that you pull out. It is engaged in locked position. Now we check for the sliding fifth wheel. This one doesn't have one. Yes, it does. There's a sliding fifth wheel. You can see, you can move the fifth wheel back and forth, front to back. So what do we say about that? The locking pins, if you can see the locking pins on the fifth wheel are not damaged and engaged in the lock position. You see the lock, you see right here. Yep, those are the pins. Yep, that's them right there. These are the locking pins.
Yeah,
Those pieces, those are the locking pins.
The locking pins
right there.
Yeah. So if you were to slide it depends on your load. If you are really loaded, you can slide it back and forth. If you were heavy loaded at 50 or 60,000 pounds, so you move it, your axle to remove the fifth wheel towards here, up on the and
To evenly distribute it.
yeah, to make it like that. Yeah. All right, now we just over down here. We talk about the landing gear. Landing gear, about 4 parts you talk about. The landing gear, first of all, it is fully raised. All right, the landing gear is fully raised, and then the landing handle is stowed. Then the landing pads are not missing, not damaged, not broken, not missing, and the support frame is not broken or there is no missing part. Just 4 things that you talk about the landing gear. All right, pretty easy. Then since we have a sliding fifth wheel, we got to talk about the gap between the tractor frame and the landing gear, because you got to really have sufficient space between that landing gear and the tractor frame for turns. So if you really move it too close, you are not going to turn your mud flap. It's going to be bad. All right. So that's all we say about this one right here, and we'll move down. We had already done the sweeping motion, cover the DOT tape, and all these. We covered them. We already covered them with that one sweeping motion. Reflectors, lenses, and reflectors. We already done that. This trailer doesn't really have an ABS light, and usually you will have that ABS light right here. Since there's a separate section for it, it's not really. It doesn't matter, but to cover yourself, you can talk about it. But with the one, yeah, it says it, but it's not there. With that one sweeping motion, you should have already covered that.
Okay.
But since there's a section for it, because they have to redo this thing, it's not gonna hurt you. You talk about it, you should see it. ABS light, it's not crack broken or missing, proper color. Amber. There we go. Now, so, but like this again, that one sweeping motion should have already covered that. And once you're done over here, it's just everything should be cruising. It should be cruising, really, because you're about to be done. All that you do up here, sweeping motion. One sweep motion. All right, all my lenses and reflectors from top. You got to say that. Remember, top and to bottom, top and on all the way down bottom. And they are not crack broken or missing. They are in proper color, red. All right, and then our reflective DOT tape, both. You see them? So they are not ripped, torn, missing, and they're not damaged. All That's all you need to say. Top to bottom, remember? And sweeping motion. All right, from top to bottom. All right, reflective and all right. We move over here. We do the same thing. One sweeping motion. All my lenses and reflectors, all the way from top, bottom, and all the way underneath, under, from back to front. I'm not crack booking or missing. They are in proper color, red and amber. You would have had another ABS light over here too. So if this one had been equipped with an ABS light. All right. So you say that proper color amber and red, and our reflective DOT tape. Not missing, not torn, not damaged, and it's proper color. All right, that's all you need to say over here.
All right.
And then you just move up, and there is nothing else to say after that.